back to our channel. It's your girl Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to deliver content to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notification so you can get alerted when we're dropping videos just like this.
Exactly. So this weekend has been an incredible weekend and a weekend of history making. So there's two individuals we're going to talk about today, two ladies, one of them, of course, being Emma Raducanu and the second being Maia, Chaka. So Emma has accomplished one of the greatest sporting achievements of all time, winning the US Open at just 18 years old. She went on to defeat Leylah Fernandez 6-4, 6-3 in an incredible match. Did you watch it? I don't know if you watched it.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, mate, it was honestly, I'm just like, what? No, oh, come on. No. It was brilliant. Honestly, it was absolutely brilliant. She's the first British woman since Virginia Wade, who was there watching her from the stands 44 years ago to win a Grand Slam singles title. So Emma Raducanu, she was born in Canada and moved to the UK when she was 2 years old. She has a Romanian father and a Chinese mother, and she's super academic. They got A star in A-level maths and an A in economics. So she's like, and I know she does like other sports as well. She's just a talented individual and super bright. And I know both of her parents work in finance, so I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, man, and just to touch just on your last point about she's only just completed her A-levels like just this summer, and it's crazy that, you know, this year especially we're seeing a lot of young talent from the Olympics now in the tennis. So it's really incredible. And what I really liked about this just part of her story, Emma's story, is the fact like she's been in so many competitions, like quite big competitions this year, and she's progressively got better and reached the later stages as time has progressed. And I thought that was incredible. And just on her US Open journey to the US Open, the fact that she didn't drop a set, like,
I know,
that's mad.
Unreal.
You know?
And she went in as a qualifier. She's the first, that was another record she got, the first ever qualifier, because she had to play, I think it's 3 matches just to even get into it. And then she went on to just like absolutely smash it.
It's mad, you know, like, and you know what I was going to say as well, like like a lot of people will be like, oh, 18 and she's already successful. But when you deep it, she's been in this game for 13 years. She started playing from 5 years old, to get what I'm saying. So nothing is overnight. Even she at 18 years old, she's been doing this for a long time, 13 years to master her craft and to get to the elite level status that she's at. 2,000 ranking points takes her from 150, rank 150, all the way up to rank 23. And she's still got another couple of tournaments or another tournament to play. So she could even position herself in the top 10 if she does well in that competition as well. It's mad.
What was cool, there was one guy that was doing like an analysis on her. What he actually said is, though she's 18, technically she's 16 as a player, because apparently she didn't really play much over COVID. So in terms of her maturity and amount that she's played, actually she's got a couple years less than her age. And I thought, yeah, that's actually a good point. And like you say, Wimbledon is when people sort of really started to take notice, but unfortunately she had to retire from that because she had breathing problems. But what she was saying, she really realized it was a physical issue, and she knew that she needed mental strength and to develop as well as the endurance as well. So what she was saying, over the weeks where she was there, she just noticed she's just getting fitter and fitter and fitter, and that endurance she just kept getting stronger and stronger. And she initially, and her team had booked their tickets to come home. They didn't think they'd be there for that long. They thought they'd only be there for a couple of weeks, and then obviously it turned into God knows how many weeks and a trophy at the end of it. That's
incredible. And was the Wimbledon on around the same time as the Olympics?
I don't.
It was kind of around the same time, but I'm pretty sure Emma was the one that they said about her dropping out, and there was a lot of like people bashing her on the radio and all this type of stuff, like saying, oh, you know, can't handle the pressure and blah, blah. I'm pretty sure I remember that back then, but to bounce back from that to go and win the US Open, that's incredible, man.
They touched on her mental resilience, and they were saying, like, for such a young person, how she speaks, how strong she is minded. She says she gets, I think she's saying there's like her parents, like I think from her mum's side as well, just how tough they are, and her parents, she said they have been very tough on her, and they are her biggest critics. But I think, just like she said, that has really helped to mold her into who she is. And I could really see, you know, sometimes you watch a tennis match and you can see, not when they get desperate, but when they get too emotional in the game, and then they're maybe going a little harder with shots or trying shots they wouldn't normally do because they're that close. You could see that happening, and then she kind of had to reset. And then obviously with her knee situation, she was saying she wanted to carry on, but I saw Layla was not happy about the game being stopped, that she apparently the umpire had said, no, she has to stop the game because there was blood flowing, but because the other girl had got the momentum. So, but she was able to, because even she said she didn't want to take that rest, because though the other girl had won like the last point, she felt she had a bit of momentum going, and that lull, she was able to compose herself, come back on, and then mate, the amount of times it was advantage back to juice, advantage back. Oh, it was so good, honestly.
I need to go and watch it. I think I was watching Match of the Day at the time, because I didn't even know it was on, to be honest with you. But then Match of the Day, they announced it, and I was like, oh man, like, yeah, this is gonna be a good one then. No,
definitely need to watch it. One thing I've been hearing a lot about is, so obviously she won, it was $2.5 million or 1.8 million pounds. And they said to her, like, what are you going to buy? And she said, oh, I can buy some AirPods now. So, because apparently she lost her AirPods in the changing room. And then she said that, come on, if you win this, you can buy yourself some more, which was really cool. But now they're all saying about she's going to be worth millions. And even they're throwing the B word around, like she could end up a billionaire. Like, I was like, what? Like, yeah, they're like saying, and the amount of endorsements and all this stuff that are going to start like coming her way. It's unreal.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like how, like I say, that personal dedication, the drive, the tenacity at 18 years old to have your head screwed on. And you're right, the way that she was speaking, like, and not even to draw comparisons, but if you saw her versus Naomi Osaka, you could see the differences there between like how they've got themselves, how they carry themselves, or how they may feel in that public eye. And I really do hope that for Emma, she is definitely going to just keep that strength behind her, and not be overcome by any of the pressures of winning, you know, and I think all of the tennis world will be super, super proud of her as well. But yeah, it's incredible.
I think you're totally right. And it looks that she's got an incredible team behind her. And that was one of the first thing in the interview. She spoke about her team. So like you say, I really do hope that, you know, she's got the right people around her, and they'll continue to support her and allow her to develop in the right way. So one of the things I did have a look at, she was being interviewed and she was asked what message would she have for younger athletes? And this is what she had to say.
I'd say it's just inner belief, and just taking care of each day as best as possible, because 10 matches ago when I was playing my first round qualies, I did not think I'd be in the US Open final or winning it. So yeah, if you just do the best you can with every single day, time flies, and you can really achieve anything with inner belief.
All right, so we're going to move on to our second person today, and that is Maia, who is the latest trailblazing woman in the NFL. So she was added to the NFL roster of game officials for the 2021 season, becoming the first Black woman in league history to be named to the NFL's officiating staff. I'm honored to be selected as an NFL official, but this moment is bigger than a personal accomplishment. It is an accomplishment for all women, my community, and my culture. Maia's years of hard work, dedication, and perseverance, including as part of the NFL Officiating Development Program, have earned her a position as an NFL official. As we celebrate Women's History Month, Maia is a trailblazer as the first Black female official and inspires us toward normalizing women on the football field. And that was said by Troy Vincent, Senior NFL Executive Vice President.
And you know what? Just on the back of that, I was looking at something. I was watching an interview, and she was saying that she wants to help get the cult, like get society to a place. And we mentioned this before, where we're no longer saying the first Black woman for XYZ. It just becomes normal to see Black women in leadership positions. And I think like someone asked her like, oh, so now you're in this position, do you feel the pressure and stuff? And she just said, look, she just worked and did what she wanted to do. And now she's in this position, she feels like she will work 10 times harder because she has this position, she has this platform, and obviously there's a lot of expectation on her, but ultimately she's trying just to be her authentic self. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that's really important as well. And she says that she performs best under pressure. And they asked her like, where do you get that grit from? And we can go into more detail, but she was saying the middle child syndrome, like she's got an older brother, she's got a younger brother, got older sibling, younger sibling. And as a middle child, as a second child, she was able to create her own identity, which I thought was quite an interesting concept.
Aren't you a middle child?
Second.
Yeah, so middle-ish, same. Yeah, I'm like I'm 3, and then obviously you got younger.
Yeah, I'm 2 out of 4.
Yeah. So, in her personal life, then she was a health and physical education teacher, which again, she's clearly a very talented person, because she did win Teacher of the Year before, and she did that for 14 years. And she was refereeing in like the NCAA's Pac-12 conference and the Conference USA. And as was mentioned, she was in their development program. So she was someone they identified as a rising star, and they give them exposure to gain experiences from the NFL, and it helps them to determine their ability to succeed, which is really cool to put them on these different programs. But when they asked her, what does it take to be an NFL official? And she said, patience, ability to listen, confidence on the field to make a call, very decisive in order to stand by your decisions. And she said, you will make mistakes, you will, but it's how you then come back from those, which is super important.
Yeah, and there's a story that I looked at, and they were asking her about any obstacles that she's had to overcome, and she was saying that in one of these meets that you're talking about, how when the first one that she went to, there's about 120 people there, all of them bar one was a white man, the other person was a black man, no women. And when she walked into the room, everybody looked at her, and they all started like tipping the chairs forward, so she couldn't, like, as if to say someone's sitting there. So she had to like walk over to another table. So she sat on this reserve table, right? And then she said this older white guy came and sat down next to her, just chatting to her, but they weren't talking about nothing to do with football or anything. So she just thought, this guy's trying to hit on me or whatever, yeah. Then they announced at the front, they said, okay, everybody quieten down. Your keynote speaker is about to come up. And then the guy sitting with her stood up and was just like, oh, thanks. He goes, oh, good to meet you, kid. He goes, I wish you nothing but the best, blah, blah. And then went up there. And then she was saying, Flip, what have I just said to this guy? Like, what have I done? What have I said to him? Like, have I incriminated myself or whatever? Have I said something stupid? But she said, like, he became like really close, and he was saying to her, like, it'll be very difficult for her to have the opportunity and all the rest of it. And I think that he played quite a pivotal role in her success as well. And just to touch on her background a little bit. So she grew up in a 2-parent household where there's a lot of culture and a lot of Black history. And her dad was a really positive role model. So whilst they're in the middle, surrounded by the hood, she said that she was in between like 2 crack houses, but her dad had a bookstore. And so he was like flipping his bookstore. So he would go from bigger to bigger spaces and all of the rest of it. And she said, like, whilst all of her friends were going out playing, she was at the bookstore. And she said that's really where the beginning of her work ethic and her grit came from, because she was having to hustle from a young child. Do you get what I'm saying? And she she never actually wanted to go into NFL. She actually wanted to go into NBA. She wanted to be a baller. She wanted to be the first girl in NBA. And then she wanted to officiate in NBA, but somebody else was telling her, you should just try out NFL, blah, blah. And she was just like, I don't know if it's for me, blah, blah. Anyway, she fell into it. And one of the things that she said is like, when doors open, she don't question. She's going to go and get it. And I love that. I thought, you know what? And she said she doesn't second guess. She doesn't put any limitations. And she doesn't have any fear when it comes to opportunity. Do you get what I'm saying? And that is like successful so and it's mad, like, because she is a woman breaking barriers, and she's been around that men for a long time. So don't get me wrong, she's probably got the confidence to be in that male dominated space. You know what I mean? Like, we grew up and we was around a lot of guys, so we find it natural to be in those male dominated spaces. But yeah, I could really resonate with that. Like, I think that both of us have quite a big work ethic as well. And, you know, I was grinding from 5-6 years old, going out and working from a young age as well. And it really does set those skills within you. Do you get what I'm saying?
At that young age. And look, it just shows for both Emma, same again, that attitude, that work ethic in all the things she did. Her parents also had high expectations on her, and look what she's gone on to achieve. Maia as well. It's absolutely incredible. And the story you're saying about people putting their chairs up, that reminds me of Forrest Gump, when they're like, you can't sit here, when he's on the bus. And like, that's just awful to actually think, you know, grown-ups are behaving in that way. And I do remember she called out on an interview once, she goes, deliberately, she knew decisions were being made deliberately, so she would be left out, or, you know, it was so obvious. And that's just an example of that. But she just didn't allow that to create a barrier in what she was doing. It was just a hump in the road that we all know we can drive over them. Just do it, you know, cautiously, get over it, and you can move on. So I think that's incredible. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, that's amazing.
It's a great story. And I just wanted to touch back on the story about when she met that guy, and it's really about, you never know who is watching you or who you're speaking to. And so always go out there with your authentic self. Anything is possible. You have to just bet on yourself and take those risks. Do you know what I mean? And just put yourself out there and not worry about what people are going to think or say about you, but also have in the back of the mind that it's one person, the power of one. We know about that very well. It's the power of one connection, one focal, anything can change the whole direction 100%. Of where you're going, man.
100%. So I'll just end with, again, obviously she was a school teacher, and then she was asked, you know, what message she would have to her students, and this is what she shared.
I'll tell my students to make sure that they always chase their dreams and not to let anything hold you back. Like, even if you think it may give you some type of limitation, you know, obviously I never played professional football, but that's not stopping me from working on the stage, on, you know, football's biggest stage. Just make sure that you apply yourself and you understand all the fundamentals for whatever job it is, or, you know, that you're trying to pursue, and just make right decisions, make good decisions. You know, decisions that are going to get you respected by your peers and your colleagues, not necessarily accepted. Okay, there's a difference between that, because when you make decisions for respect, then you become accepted by everyone else.
So that's an amazing, powerful end to our video. We're super excited to see the future of Emma, as well as women in NFL, especially with the officiating. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. I've been your girl, Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode, and we will see you next week.
Peace.